Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome into the show that's on in the afternoon with the freshly cleared out studio.
I know. We look fresh and new from the morning show.
Yeah, I know. I feel totally different than I did in the morning show this morning.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Nice to have you back, sir.
Yeah, it's nice to be back.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Very
Very
good.
exciting to be back. Had a birthday to celebrate yesterday where I did nothing, Davey, but buy old people shoes.
Okay, well,
I figure for the 40th birthday, it's like, you know what? I've never had a pair of comfortable shoes in my life.
perfect.
So this is the time to do it.
Did you test drive like a hover round? Like, like one of those?
Yep.
Very nice.
Applied for a handicap sticker on my window.
Best
Yeah,
parking in
all
town,
that stuff.
yes.
Yeah, man. Hey, anytime we can get good parking.
True story.
That's it. Hey, I'll tell you a place that does have good parking.
True.
Good segue. Fountain of Youth.
Nice.
Fountain of Youth. If you're going out to see the Fountain of Youth, you're going to find a lot of places to park.
Loving this.
Very
loving
easy
this.
to do that,
Yes,
man.
sir.
We've got Alexandra Fraser and John Fraser in here with us this afternoon to talk a little bit of Fountain of Youth.
Mm-hmm.
They got a lot going on here.
The story of it's incredible, and that's what I love to dive into. It's a really, really cool, whole-rounded story, and celebrating our great community. I love it.
Yeah. It's such a memorable piece of St. Augustine.
Yes.
So many people come here just to visit the Fountain of Youth and try to get a little bit younger. Maybe I need to try that.
With that water.
I hear you guys hand out that water. I may need to get a few gallons of that, actually. Yeah. So we're going to talk to John and Alexandra here in just a couple of minutes. I'm really interested to dive into that story. You know, I started my career at WFOY, the radio station, which used to be headquartered out at the Fountain of Youth, which is why it's WFOY,
The
Fountain
great
of
Chris
Youth.
Phillips.
Yes. Yeah.
Awesome.
And so we'll dive into that and tell you what's going on out there that you need to look forward to.
Cool.
And a whole lot more. We will start the show by telling you about our friends at Beaux-Arts Ford Lincoln, celebrating 75 years. Not quite as old as the Fountain of Youth, but getting up there.
Yep.
Right here in St. Augustine in Northeast Florida. Beaux-Arts Ford Lincoln is here for you. You can experience their extensive selection of new and pre-owned vehicles, quick and quality servicing, and their amazing parts and accessories shop to just really trick out that Ford, man. Make sure to grab a signature burger out there at Ford's Garage while you're there. They got some pretty good ones. I hear the 904 burger is pretty awesome.
It's the best one they have in the house. Why wouldn't you have that?
Probably the best burger in the world.
Delicious.
They offer services from home delivery to company fleet servicing. Out there at Beaux-Arts Ford Lincoln, your family truly is their family, and they are driven to inspire. Also, our friends out there at the Bailey Group. Hey, Davey, getting enrolled in a health insurance or Medicare plan doesn't have to be complicated.
Bro, it is so tough. I don't know how to do it by myself.
Well, that's why you go to the Bailey Group. Yeah, you know all about this. You already do this every year.
I wrote the read. Thanks, Captain Obvious. We love the Bailey Group.
Oh, we do. It can be as easy as pie.
Yeah.
That's me saying old people things now.
Or
easy
Sunday
as
morning.
pie.
Easy like Sunday morning.
There you go. Yep. At the Bailey Group, you're going to work with a local insurance advisor to find just the right insurance coverage for your specific needs and budget. Their goal is to make getting covered simple. No added costs, no extra fees, nothing you don't need. The Bailey Group handles individual health and Medicare corporate benefits and financial needs for their clients. Let them do that for you. Give them a call, 904-461-1800. Set up a consultation. They're just very nice people too.
Yeah,
You go in and talk to them, you're just gonna feel good when you leave.
Yes.
And you're gonna feel more confident about what you're doing.
Streamline your healthcare plan because you can be overpaying and you have no idea.
Right. And of course, our friends at no. Elace. Actually, we still got the Amaro. We'll fix that later.
Oops, I forgot to change these.
Elace Med Spa.
We
A
love you
little
guys.
bit of a rebranding. Still the
Absolutely.
same great services, the same great people, the same great ownership. Nothing has changed but the name, which is great. So if you are craving the perfect blend of relaxation and rejuvenation, Elace Med Spa is your answer. Let's just formally Mara Med Spa. Love it.
Love it.
From luxurious spa treatments to advanced medical aesthetics, Elace's experts will personalize a treatment plan just for you. You can enhance your natural beauty with things like Botox, dermal fillers, laser treatments, their amazing hydrofacials, which everybody loves.
Like a vacuum for your face. I love it.
Yeah. Experience top-notch care in their state-of-the-art facility. You will feel refreshed and revitalized. Elase. We're going to have to find something there.
Gonna have to work on that. Yeah. They
Elase
said
med spa.
Elase starts with an E and ends with an E, which symbolizes their mission of empowerment in the aesthetics industry. Very
there you
nice.
go.
We'll work on that. Same name, same team, just elevated.
That's right. E for elevated.
Yeah.
Elase Med Spa. 2100 A1A South, Suite 2. Visit them at, I think it's just elase.com, isn't
Yes, elase.com.
it? E-L-A-S-E.
Mm-hmm.
Easy.
When you think of your face, think of Elase.
Hey.
It's nice.
We'll work on that
Yeah,
stuff.
we'll definitely shine it up. Yeah.
John and Alexandra Fraser know a whole lot about shining things up. They've been working with the part. They've been always revitalizing the Fountain of
Cultivating
Youth.
this, yeah, I
yeah,
love it.
man. There's always something new. They're always making it bigger and better, a better experience for everybody out there. John, Alexandra, welcome to the show. Thank y'all for being here this
Thank you.
afternoon.
Thanks for having us.
Heck yeah. So I'm excited to dive into the Fountain of Youth. You know, everybody who lives here knows it exists.
Yes.
But not everybody knows the story of how your family got involved with Fountain of Youth and you know, why it's here in the first place. So let's talk about that. It is the landing site of Ponce de Leon, right?
Right. It's a lot more than a drink of water. That's the first
Yeah.
thing I would say.
Yeah.
Because people do go for the water because they want
Right.
to taste because it just might work.
You never know.
A wedding gift, too. I see this a lot at weddings. People bring the little glasses to weddings.
They do.
Yeah.
Nice little toast with the Fountain of Youth water. Keeps
Yeah.
them forever young.
That's right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Do you play the song "Forever Young" while they're drinking it? Like that?
Occasionally.
Nice little feature. Get the royalties first. Yeah.
So, John, how did your family get involved with the Fountain of Youth, first of all?
My grandfather and grandmother used to, they lived up in Albany, Georgia, and they would vacation here in St. Augustine.
Okay.
And over that time, they met Luella Day McConnell, who was a surgeon out of Alaska that had moved here. And she was the owner. Her husband's name was Edward. Only met him a couple of times because he preferred the New York social scene to the St. Augustine mosquitoes and heat scene.
Oh, get out of here.
So she spent most of her time here, and he spent most of his time up in New York. Well, when she passed away in 1925, my grandfather expressed an interest in buying it from Edward McConnell, and they were able to put the deal together, and he bought it in 1927. And at the time, there was a spring, and there was a house, and that was pretty much it. That was the only thing that was known at the time, and it's just been over his tenure when the Native American burials were discovered in 1934. Smithsonian Institute came and made the determination that they were Christianized, which meant that the first Catholic mission church was located on the property, and that the Native Americans were buried in the churchyard, and that I learned a lot about the Timucuan culture at the time, and virtually everything that was discovered, he wanted to preserve, protect, and to interpret, to sell, so to speak. In other words, we put a building around the Native American burials, even when the University of Florida and the Smithsonian were finished, and to protect them. And nobody came back for 15 years. So they would have been left out and exposed. And anyway, with the building there, they were able to put a walkway and people could walk by and see it. And,
Cool.
And Granddad had put up all the black and white photos as to, when the digs were going on at the time. And then, you got to remember, this was all during the Great Depression. We had I don't want to say it was a renaissance for the park, but a lot of knowledge was gained. Buildings were put in. Plans were made for the planetarium in 1957, 58, put in service 59. We had a 2-story globe that gave the first 100 years of Spanish history in about 7 minutes, air conditioned in 1960.
Hey, whoa,
I'm going to tell you,
fancy.
that was a big deal back then. Big, thick Antron carpet he got from the World's Fair, an idea that he got from the World's Fair, and folks could come in and sit down. And, people just don't do that today. I don't know about you guys, but when I get on the ground, I got to try to figure out how to roll over.
Exactly. How are we going to get back up here? I'm a giraffe. I can get a lot up there.
That's gonna have to see. Well, that was the old line park back then, and then as we came out of the Depression, more people started to travel. My parents got more involved in the 80s, and then it really took off. Dr. Kathy Deegan, 1976, came over and started digging, and in her tenure at the park, over 35 years. She was able to discover the original barrel well from the city of St. Augustine. The original site of St. Augustine is located on that site. They got the footprints of at least 10 of the buildings.
Wow.
Of course, they found a couple more burials. Found it was the first, in North America it was, domesticated animal. Domesticated. It was a dog. And they were able to, the dog had a broken leg, and someone had buried the dog back around 1000 AD. And they looked at the contents of the stomach, and they determined that the dog ate fish, had some nuts, had some other kinds of vegetable seeds in the stomach and that kind of thing. But I mean, there's just so many things that have been discovered and continued to be discovered until Kathy retired. And so we preserved that part of the park and have put in what's the latest thing we did? We did a blacksmith shop. Working blacksmith shop, open. It's 7 days a week.
Really?
Where they make some of the nails, the hand-wrought nails that were used. We have a boathouse where we house the chalupa that was built with the St. Augustine Maritime Foundation. It was a joint venture that we did for the 450th of St. Augustine.
Cool.
And they were able to use it during their celebrations. And at the end of the celebrations, we offered to have a permanent place at the Fountain of Youth. And so we built the boathouse building similar to what's on the Boazio map. Of course, you've probably heard our cannon. We do have our cannon. Although we are 1/4 the powder of the great and mighty fort, you still get the feeling of what that's all about. We fire that every hour from 11 until 5, and
usually that's the start of the ceremony. So it starts it off with a bang.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's a great metaphor.
Yeah. So as soon as that goes off, the wedding starts. The bride starts walking down the aisle.
Yep.
And guests know to get seated.
Has that always been a tradition? Is that something you've always practiced?
So it's just a fun way to incorporate it into the wedding.
I love that.
Yep.
Yeah, it's like a great kickoff.
Very cool.
Definitely.
I like you guys do the yearly event, the recreation of the landing out there. And that draws a lot of people. People really get into that. It's a really cool sight to see and kind of get a little bit of what that experience may have been like.
Definitely for Founders Day.
Yeah, Founders Day.
That's
First
right, Founders
Thanksgiving
Day.
was there, according to Dr. Gannon. It was great he wrote the book, and he specifically mentioned the first Thanksgiving in St. Augustine, Florida, way before Plymouth.
Yeah.
And,
People don't give St. Augustine a lot of credit for the stuff we deserve.
I'm telling you.
The oldest city.
Can you imagine?
People are disputing this. That's really,
They don't
really
know much. Yeah,
Well, it was taught in English up there. That's the thing.
Yeah,
It was-
right.
It was not in Spanish.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Very
See?
different. How did the peacocks get to Fountain of Youth? They are iconic.
They really are.
I'm going to tell you that it was nothing nefarious at all. It was a phone call. There was a fellow that called up and said, I have 2 peacocks, and I was wondering if I could bring them over to the Fountain of Youth. And we had folks drop off ducks and that kind of thing because we had a duck pond.
Okay.
And we said, sure, bring them on over. Don't know if they're going to stay, but whatever. Person brought it over, and the male immediately flew away. The one with the beautiful plumage. All the males have the plumage. Okay. The female stuck around, and people would occasionally feed them little bits of their lunch, that sort of thing. But the real mother lode came when we had a locksmith that was our go-to guy for when folks would lock their keys in the car, and this was prior to OnStar.
Yeah, remember those back in the day?
and Fox locksmith would come out. And this gentleman called me one day and sadly said that he had cancer and he wasn't going to make it. And he wanted to know if we could provide a home for his peacocks. And I told him, I said, we're not an aviary, so I'm not real sure if we can do this. And he said, look, they're wild birds, but I can guarantee you that they will stay. And I said, well, if you think so. I said, well, we'll do it. We have other birds on the property. And
How many are we talking about here? 15?
5.
Okay.
It was great. One of them was white, and the rest of them were the beautiful blue color. And he sure enough, he opened up the cages, and they walked out, and he put bird seed, cat food, and peanuts down. Now I'm there, my dad's there, we're looking at it, going, all right, well, this looks pretty simple. Yeah. And then they disappeared. And then he went and left, and never came back. And which again was sad, but his birds after 2 weeks started to poke their heads out of the bamboo that was there, and then they stayed. And so the next year we had 12, and then the next year we had 18. Just all from the same litter. I know that's not the appropriate road.
Right, yeah.
It's a party of peacocks. And then that third year we had 78. And it was like somebody put a KFC sign out and said, open for business. Yeah. Here come the red-tailed hawks. Here come the ospreys. No. Here's the big eagle that's sitting up on top of the cross coming in, The only thing missing was the ta-ta-ta-ta.
Yeah, right.
Ta-ta-ta-ta. and and we still get that.
Yeah.
But they're a little bit, they're sensitive to the number of people around, and they don't tend to go after the birds of prey. Don't tend to go after the birds when these the folks are there visiting. So it's usually early in the morning, and then it's later in the afternoon. But it happens. And right now we've got the park maintains right about 100 of them. And
Wow.
they tend to go where they want to go. And like we were talking earlier, they sleep up in the trees.
They sleep in the trees.
Yeah.
Wow.
So their biggest predators really are the birds during the day, and their raccoons and other ground foragers during the day.
What time do they wake up?
They don't normally come out of the trees until about 8:30.
Okay. Wow. Okay.
And
I wish I had that sleep schedule. That sounds nice.
when the folks start coming in, they start thinking, there's peanuts.
Yeah.
Peanuts are going to be involved here. So they do that.
Well, they fan out those tail feathers.
Especially this time, right?
Yes. Yep. So springtime's usually their mating season.
Okay.
Oh,
I think
boy.
they get a little confused because it seems to be year round their mating season. I guess it's because of the warmer weather.
Yeah.
So they make great photo bombers for those weddings.
I believe it,
So
yes.
if you
All
carry
right.
around some peanuts, you drop them, they'll come right to you. So I've seen some beautiful photos with the photographers
That's
and
awesome.
the bride and groom. And yes.
Oh, that's so cool. Now you mentioned weddings.
Yes.
Events down there are very, very popular.
Yes, they are.
How long have you guys been doing events at the park, and what does that look like for folks who may want to hold their event out there at the Fountain of Youth?
Yes, so we've been having events within the last, I would say, 10 years or so. And so we enclosed the Magnolia Room, which is our primary event space, back in 2018. And ever since then, things have been booming. Of course, we had COVID, but after COVID, things kind of took off. And so we're staying busy every single weekend with weddings, and we have different types of events as well. So we have fundraisers, we have bridal showers, memorial services, birthday parties. So really whatever event you can think of, we have.
A little bit of everything.
So-
In your opinion, what do you think sets your event space apart from so many other event spaces in
Yeah.
town? What's so unique about the Fountain of Youth?
Well, we're at the Fountain of Youth, so you get a little bit of that history, but we also sit right on the St. Augustine Inlet. So you can actually have your wedding ceremony down by the waterfront. You can have it in our peacock garden with all of the peacocks hanging around.
Fun.
And then the Magnolia Room, it's about 3,000 square feet. So the retractable bay doors open onto 2 outdoor patios.
Love that.
And so we can have up to, I would say, 300 people for an evening time event. And so really the guests are able to experience not only having their wedding or their event there, but they can wander the grounds. And so they can go out to the dock, which is 600 feet that goes out to the St. Augustine Inlet. They can pop into the spring house and have a sip of the legendary water. So it's fully a unique experience.
And it's shaded,
Yes.
which I think is a big bonus.
Yes, lots of
especially
different
in the
foliage.
summer, like it's a wonderful, like a little bit of
Yes.
respite from the sun. Yeah.
Definitely. Yep. So we have large oak trees and cedar trees. And so it does keep things well shaded.
Awesome.
Yes.
And I can vouch for doing an event out there. I mentioned WFOI. When we had our 75th year anniversary, maybe it was, we held that down at Fountain of Youth under that pavilion. And it was amazing. Everybody loved it. And it was just a great space to, when you're done with the party and the festivities, just to walk around and see the grounds. It's a beautiful,
Definitely.
beautiful area.
Yes.
So, John, did you see like a niche that you needed to build that pavilion? Did you see like there's an opportunity here? Because there's a great story behind it.
Well, first of all, we had events for many years, but we didn't hold them. We didn't host them. We basically just literally rented the real estate. When somebody would come to us and said, "Hey, like put a little tent out here, maybe have a wedding,
Oh,
like do a
okay.
little ceremony, do this, that sort of thing." So, after that, we said, let's do something a little more formal for the 500th anniversary of the discovery of La Florida, which is essentially North America and the Ponce de Leon landing. My brother-in-law, Steve Benninger, we're standing out in the field and it's completely empty. It's 2 months and a week before the event. And he says to me, he goes, if we can get the money, I could build that.
Of course.
What?
And that's what I said. I said,
If
wait
you
a second,
build it,
9
they will
weeks.
come, yeah.
I said, this is St. Augustine and a lot of construction, not as much as today. But
God bless your mind. Yeah.
and he goes, yeah, I can do it. Let's if we can get the money, let's do it. And so within a couple of days, we had lined up the financing, and we were able to get it built in 9 weeks. And right up until the last minute, I mean, the day before we were slated, there was construction debris, and sure as shooting, he managed to get all that cleaned up, and I was able to give a very, very long speech. The speeches should be shorter, but we did that. And then, and then it started to take off a little bit better. We were able to sell the spring weddings and the fall weddings. Mm-hmm. But then we were coming back from New Mexico, and we stopped at this little place in Destin and had dinner at a restaurant that happened to be on the beach. And we saw the coolest thing. Everything was wide open. The sea breeze was coming in, but the doors were enormous. Mm-hmm. They were very thick. So we started asking questions. Hey, let me ask you, where these doors come from? How did you do this? How do they work during hurricanes? They answered all the questions, checked all the boxes. We decided, let's spend the money. Let's do that. That way we can make it a 4-season venue instead of a 2-season venue. Yeah. We had 25,000 pounds of air conditioning that we could turn on, but all the AC up to that time was coming down and going out the windows.
Right.
Because there were no windows.
Illusion windows.
So anyway, we all agreed to it on the board. We're sitting around like brothers and sisters, and we said, yes, let's spend the money. How much do you think it will be? Well, we don't really know, but maybe 70, 80,000, maybe we can take care of that. Holy moly. The cost of the windows and to get it
I can only imagine.
We're 150% over what it cost to build the original pavilion. Or 3 or 4 years earlier. It was
you have unbelievable. 2 payments. Tell me you have 2 payments. Check the strip.
I tell you, man, had it not been for Steve and the concrete guy, Lon Manucci, and the electrician, I get nervous when somebody just does a repair on a piece of our house. Yeah. I'm looking at all this stuff thinking, man, how does anybody keep track of this?
It's amazing.
Thank God. But anyway, it's all up and running, and
it's a great idea.
Alexandra's doing a phenomenal job.
Thank you.
And people talk a lot about the food out there too. Mm-hmm. I mean, the food's nothing to sneeze at. I mean, really good barbecue out there. Mm-hmm. Talk to me about the restaurant on site.
You want to say something about smoked Southern barbecue?
Smoked Southern barbecue. So they have some great pulled pork sandwiches.
Okay.
Personally, I love their French fries. I think that they're one of the best in town, if not the best.
The fries.
I love it. Claim it. Name it and claim it. It's awesome.
And you don't need a ticket to go to Smoked Southern Barbecue. You can come inside. You can. We do have complimentary on-site parking, and so you'd be able to park there. Cool. It's mainly outdoor seating, so if it's a beautiful day, you can go outside and just hang out, have some food. And they have great ice cream. They have beer and sangria, so it's definitely worth it.
Do you use the catering services for any weddings or anything like that?
We do, yes.
That's a nice feature because it's right there on site, right?
Exactly.
And I heard you have some crazy smoker or something. That's some big gigantic something
that everybody is very proficient in using. I understand.
Yes. Officer Priester sold it to us. He was in the catering business and the barbecue business for a long time, and I don't know much about what things cost when it comes to something like that.
Yeah, I know.
He flipped out the price, and the lady who was the manager at the time said, "Hey, we got to get in the catering business full time. Let's go." Both guys. We got to spend a little money to make a little money, and she told me what the cost of it. I said, say what? Is how much money?
Windows, pavilion.
Big 55-gallon drum.
Poor John.
I'm thinking, wow, it's bigger than 55. It'll cook 700 pounds of meat. So I guess I got to be really happy about that. We've yet to cook 700 pounds of meat, but that's where we do all of our turkeys. We do our brisket and our pulled pork. Mm-hmm. It's amazing what it can do, and the number of folks that are there doing it. We use apple wood. It's a little softer wood than hickory. Sometimes we'll go with hickory because some people really like the smoke.
Yeah,
they really like that.
Yeah,
but it's incredible. And as Ali mentioned, the 200 parking spaces that we have that are right there in the main parking lot, people can come in, they go park, they go pick up the food, they go back to work, they sit there and they want to eat it. It's great. It's It's all really good. We're really happy that we have control over that.
Yes.
For years, as you know, we've rented it out, and there've been several concept stores that have been in there. Mm-hmm. Brian Whittington with the old Preserved I thought he did a great job with the food. At first, we started with Five Flags Cafe and had a very eclectic menu, and then he came. The original idea was his. He said, "Hey, I'd like to convert it to a barbecue restaurant," and I thought, barbecue restaurant. Let me think about that. And I thought, well, yeah, I guess everything that the Spanish would have brought over if they wanted to heat it up would be considered barbecue.
Right.
Yeah. Barbecue alligator and barbecue rabbit and barbecue squirrel.
So do you still have barbecue squirrel to this day? That's the big question.
We don't do a barbecue squirrel. We don't do anything like that. But we're willing to try. I don't know.
Oh, well, hey, you heard it here first, everybody.
It would be BYOS, though. You have to bring
your own squirrel.
Okay, don't use the smoker.
Right.
Oh man.
No. We definitely.
When we talk about the Fountain of Youth, we talk a lot about the past, obviously. But what are you guys looking ahead to? What are you guys planning on for the future of the Fountain of Youth?
Well, I had to tell you that the immediate thing on the radar is a Native American Interpretive Center. Back in 2017, we took the old Native American burial ground that we had there. It was pretty good size, concrete block. You start thinking, this will last the weather. It's been here through Hurricane Dora, Donna, Floyd. It'll take anything that nature throws at us. And that's about the time that God taps you on the shoulder and says, hey, I just want to let you know I'm still in charge. And Hurricane Irma blew through, and 2 water oaks, we think simultaneously, collapsed onto this beautiful hand-hewn cedar roof, metal roof with the cedar joists, and just collapsed it. It had been open for 2 weeks. We had a film that we had produced that gave the Timucuan life. We had some artifacts, not a lot, but at the time, because we had donated most of them, 93,000, to the University of Florida Museum of Natural History. So we are in a position now where we're going to rebuild it. Les Thomas is designing it for us. I don't know if you guys have had him on the show. If you haven't,
awesome.
He's a fascinating, fun guy. He's an architect. He's been around forever, done most of our stuff on St. George Street.
Cool.
And so he's going to design the building, and we plan on having, on loans, many of those artifacts where people can see it, have the presentation, have a stage in case other Native American groups might want to come in. And as soon as you open the doors, you're out in our Native American village, Timucua Village right there, and you get a little bit more interpretation with the Anoti huts and all the thatched buildings that are out there. And that's number one. There'll be other things, again, like you said, we build it and they'll come.
Yeah.
You and Kevin Costner. And that's just it. Whatever we can interpret. When Dr. Deegan retired and stopped digging over at the park, the last day she discovered a 180-foot long wall running east and west, which she believed to be the northernmost fortification of the original city of St. Augustine, which had been founded there.
Wow.
And she just kept going out, and she knew she was running out of time. And so, all right, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to shoot a line. We're going to dig right there. They dig a hole. Oh, wow, it's great. Because, the wood, the lines were made out of wood. The buildings were made out of wood. So when fire and vermin and pestilence and all that sort of stuff happened to it, what happens is it goes to the ground, doesn't go into the ground. Fire stops at the ground. So you dig down the ground deep enough, and scrape off the stuff on the top, you're able to actually see the remains of the city. Downtown, you'll see the same thing, the foundations and that sort of thing.
We found a boat on King Street about a year ago. Yeah.
It's incredible. I mean, you can't dig anywhere around here without finding something.
Yeah, we love the archaeologists.
But she found that wall. And, so maybe we'd like to do something with the wall. I don't know.
Well, we did just finish 2 event buildings. We finished the Celebration Cottage.
Cool.
So mainly that's used for bridal parties to get ready in. We do have a wraparound porch on the Celebration Cottage, which is my favorite feature because you can actually sit outside in the rocking chairs. You can have a beverage. And then it's also used for smaller events. So we have that building. And then we also have Ponce's Pavilion, which is an open air screened in pavilion.
1,200 square feet.
So it's rather large. It has picnic tables. We have many school groups that come through. So that's where the kids normally eat their lunch.
Okay.
And that can be also used for smaller events. So if you want to have a birthday party during the day, you could certainly do that. Yes.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Awesome.
you guys have some specials going on for St. Johns County residents. Something's going on, some like 50% off of Into the Park or something.
Yeah.
Yes.
If any St. Johns County resident shows up with some kind of an ID, and it could be whether it's a license or a utility bill.
Okay.
If you show up with and just prove that you're a St. Johns County resident, we give you 50% off to get in. There are certain months of the year, like September, when we have Founders Day, that we offer free admission to locals at that time as well. And occasionally in the month of January, we'll open up the month of January after the New Year's weekend to do that as well.
That's awesome.
Free to locals. And we're always offering during the year discounts on our annual passes. So
cool.
All kinds of ways to get there.
Very cool. Well, my last question being, you guys talked about the burial ground aspect of it. A lot of people go to certain places in St. Augustine because they think they're going to see some ghosts. Have you guys ever seen any ghosts out there? Is there?
Can you speak to that? I mean, I've been here no longer than you. I got a couple of things, but
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
No, I personally haven't seen anything. No.
Any energy change?
It's different at night. It's a completely different vibe, but
Yeah.
it's yeah.
the darkness will kind of engulf you at times. Jessica Clark went out one time, I guess in the evening, and spent a little bit of time. I think Chad Light was showing her around, and she had made mention of being in one of those Anodi huts, and I've noticed this during the day. I mean, it's just you feel, I don't know, I don't want to say it's a good feeling, but it's just like there's something around.
Yeah.
And I can tell you that the store, it's got a couple of interesting things. I had a couple ladies that worked there. One lady, it started in 1947, the gift shop.
Yes.
And Betty McDaniel, God bless her, she worked there till she was 88 years old, and it was unbelievable. And had worked for me for 25 years. And then I came in one day, and she said, "John, do you have a moment?" I said, "Oh, sure." I'm thinking it's a T-shirt issue or something like that, you know. And she goes, "I had an incident this morning, and I don't know how to explain it." I said, "Well, what was it?" And she goes, "You see this waterfall, this shelving unit right out here?" And I said, "Yeah." This unit has glass on, like 8 shelves of glass. It's 5 feet long and sits there, and it's just got a ton of stuff on it, like in most gift shops, and it's just a ton of stuff. And she said, "I got here and I was putting the money in the register, and all of a sudden I heard this noise. It sounded like there was this rattling, and I looked up from doing the change, and the rack directly in front of the counter began to shake." And it was shaking, and the merchandise was bouncing up and down like an earthquake.
Yeah.
The only difference was nothing was coming off the shelves. Nothing came off the shelves. I said, "How long did it last?" And she goes, "Well, it seemed like it lasted forever."
Right.
But probably about 15, 20 seconds. I don't know.
Wow.
And it got violent, and then it slowed down, and that was it. And I said, "That's it." And she was not one of these people who make up this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And I said, "Well, yeah, are you okay? Do you want to sit down? You want me to take over? You want to go home? I mean, is everything going?"
She goes,
She goes, no, nothing happened. We're all good. And I said, "Great, we're good to go, right?"
Get back on the line.
Been lived through every disaster, everything that ever happened to the Fountain of Youth, the flooding that we've had, from the hurricanes that have come in and all that. And it was like, just another day. It's some spirit just trying to let them know that we can still do it.
Crazy.
Every now and then people will give us a little something, but that's the major event.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
I haven't seen any Stay Puft Marshmallow Man.
Well, good.
Okay. When those guys show up.
Calling Egon Spangler and all that. Yeah. Well, thank you all so much for stopping by. This was a lot of fun, and I'm glad we got to tell people a little bit more about what you guys do in the Fountain of Youth out there.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you so much for having us.
Appreciate it.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
So fun. Thank you.
Very cool.
Relation meets history, guys.
That's it.
Yes.
Let's see. I'll give you a private tour.
There it is.
Awesome. Thank you. Hey.
Down by the burials. Thanks. Made me a little nervous. Yeah. I'm gonna have to wear a depend.
Well, that's pretty cool, man. It's
Yeah.
cool to get
Isn't
some
that
more
cool?
information on there, and they got a lot going on.
Yeah. I love
Really
the events,
love
I
it.
love the weddings. I know there's
Yeah.
been a lot of nonprofits out there that have had some great events too. So yeah. Great stuff is happening over there.
Yeah, very cool. Hey, speaking of history, how about our friends at the Old Town Trolley?
Oh, we love them.
Yes, we do.
We do too.
You don't have to be scared, Davey. There's no ghosts on the Old Town Trolley.
Well,
You can sit back and relax as their licensed and talented tour conductors share over 500 years of St. Augustine's history, culture, and old world charm while experiencing unforgettable views aboard their open-air trolleys. If you're a guest, you're going to enjoy the city's European flavor, the brick-lined streets and the sights, like the Castillo de San Marcos, the Fountain of Youth,
there it is.
and Henry Flagler's former Ponce de Leon Hotel. It's typically a 90-minute tour, features 22 stops, more than 100 points of interest in St. Augustine. You can also use your ticket all day for on and off boarding. The trolley ticket also includes free admission to the St. Augustine History Museum, the free shuttle service to many area hotels, and free access to the St. Augustine Beach Bus Shuttle Service. They're the green trains. We absolutely love them. They're Old Town Trolleys.
Hey, Florida, let's talk about something we take very seriously. That's air conditioning. We're not about to be left in a hot mess of humidity, right? So when was the last time you had your home unit and gave it some love? For a fabulous 45 years, All-American Air has been the AC hero of St. Augustine and beyond. We're talking St. John's, Flagler, Duval, and Putnam counties. They're not just experts, they're the cool cats of warranty and non-warranty service. They have preventative maintenance agreement plans, new construction installations, and rocking high-efficiency systems from Lennox Wonders to the ultra-smart iComfort thermostat. They have all of your HVAC products in sight. Get on one of those maintenance plans today. Give them a call, 904-461-0070.
Speaking of maintenance plans, you need to maintain your mental health with some wine.
Yes!
There you go.
Love it.
You can find your new favorite wine at our friends at Bin 39, right there on the Orange Street side of St. George Street. Great people out there. Not only are you going to find your new favorite wine, but you're going to enjoy the atmosphere. You're going to enjoy the staff. You're going to enjoy meeting some new people out there. It's always a great time out there at Bin 39. They've got, over 85 wines out there on hand and ready for you. A bunch of those rated over 90 points by Robert Parker, which is a huge deal. Bin 39 specializes in boutique wines that outdrink the price. Check them out today. Give them a call. Find your new favorite wine at Bin 39, 904-827-5740.
Nice.
All right, not so nice. Our Tuesday horoscopes. We've got Cancer, Leo, and Virgo on deck.
Sorry, guys.
Let's get into it, shall we? All right. Cancer is where we'll start. You might feel like retreating into your shell today, Cancer, but honestly, it's crowded in there with all those emotions. Maybe let some of those out. Yep. Or don't.
Okay.
Who cares? Oh, ouch. Leo, today offers yet another opportunity to reflect on your favorite subject, yourself.
Very nice.
Mirror, mirror on the wall. Who's the fairest of them all? Spoiler, it's still you.
They're so happy right now.
Yeah, see? Well, that was a pretty good one.
That's a good one.
Pretty fed right into the Leo ego right there.
Yeah, right away.
Yeah. Virgo, get ready to nitpick the day away. Remember, there's a flaw out there, and you're going to find it. Your superpower is making mountains out of molehills. Yeah.
Yeah. Superpower. You know, superpower. We've
What's
got
that?
Hastings Main Street's got another announcement. I know.
Okay, when
Love
do they
them.
stop? It's unbelievable.
Rolling out the
When do these
events.
people sleep?
I love Hastings.
Jen Allen, get some sleep.
So the Hastings Branch Library hosts a free monthly movie night. Popcorn and refreshments are provided, and the movie's always a great, great, great hit. So this movie, in recognition of Women's History Month, will be a screening of Barbie.
Oh, well, look at that.
A 2023 fantasy comedy film, obviously directed by Greta Gerwig, who did not get nominated for the Oscar. We will move on. This is
okay.
happening on Friday, March 15th, 6 to 8 p.m. So cool. Check that out over at Hastings Branch Library.
Very cool.
Hey, Hometown Heroes Ride is coming up. This is benefiting local families who serve and enforce and protect. This is happening, save the date, April 13th, 9 a.m. This, of course, is an event by Builders Care. We love them over there. Check out more on socials. But yeah, Hometown Heroes Ride, this is going to be great. This is the third annual. This year, they'll be honoring Sergeant Barry, who was injured in the line of duty. To become a sponsor or to register for the ride, I'll put link in comments for everybody, hometownheroride.com.
Oh, that one's a great one.
Yeah, very, very good. There's a psychic comedian coming to town.
What?
I know, right? This is happening Saturday, March 16th at 7 o'clock p.m. over at Cafe 11. So, Clay, you might be doing the sound. You've seen him on America's Got Talent. This is Peter Antoneau. You can experience it for yourself and find out why Simon Cowell called him a wizard.
Wow. Okay. That's the nicest thing Simon Cowell's ever said.
Right, I know, for real. Have you seen his face? Jeez,
He's a little weird looking.
Go to a lace.
Weird looking.
Get
Yeah,
that
man.
fixed, Cowell. Coming to Cafe 11 March 16th to read minds, tell jokes, and fortunes. Join him for an interactive evening of the impossible. Check out Cafe 11 for more info, and that's going to be something kind of fun and different to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. America's Got Talent, huh?
Very nice.
Speaking of very nice, Panache.
Oh,
They'll make
best.
you feel very nice.
Yes.
They opened their doors in 1987. Very long time ago. You know, we still think of that as like 20 years ago. That's a lot longer than 20 years ago. They open their doors to be a cut above the rest. Their mission at Panache is to care for their team, their guests, and community from scalp to soul. and bring joy to the world one service at a time. They've got a carefully chosen and highly trained staff. Highly trained staff. I don't know where that S came from. Highly trained. They're just all freaking out over there.
Michelle's laughing. I know. I feel you're laughing.
I know. Highly trained staff there to exceed your expectations. The same goes for their elegant salon space. I will say Michelle and the team down there take a lot of care to make sure their staff is very comfortable.
They're
and very,
amazing,
very
yeah.
happy. They really do treat everybody very, very well, including their guests, of course. They're also proud to align with Aveda's mission of ethical and sustainable business practices and their high fashion aesthetic. Check them out. Go to getpanache.com or just go down to the Island Publix Plaza.
Yeah.
They're right in there, man. Check it out for yourself.
Amazing peeps.
Yeah.
And amazing, the United Way of St. Johns County is a champion for our community. Together, they create opportunities, foster education, and improve the lives of those in need. The United Way of St. Johns County is a catalyst for change, bringing together businesses, volunteers, and organizations to tackle the toughest challenges facing our community. With your support, they can make a real difference. Check them out today. Really cool initiative that we're going to dive into in a couple weeks, getting books for kids in Title I schools. So check them out on their socials, how you can get involved and donate some books. Go to unitedway-sjc.org.
All right, sir. How are we on the show today?
Picks of disaster waiting just around the corner.
Okay, love this.
His first one, can never get a good picture of my hiking pals, so this is the best I could get here. Yeah.
All right,
It's like
that's a little aggressive.
giant kiss. I'm not quite sure. Yeah. Next up, never take a selfie during a snowball fight.
Oh,
Yeah.
I want to see the selfie a split second after
Right.
that.
Yeah. Next up, took my kids rock climbing today.
Oh, that didn't work out for one of them.
Ooh.
Got to put the harness on.
Yeah, geez. Next up, my lumberjack brother-in-law,
no.
first time in Finland, making an ice hole. Good example of how not to do it.
That's a great way to get soaked while you're wearing shorts and a t-shirt.
Not too bright there. Next up, Halloween 1989.
Oh,
My little sister just had a really bad day.
yeah.
Oh. Next up,
What
that
is
one
happening
Christmas
here?
When the champagne cork hit me in the eye.
Oh, ouch.
Yikes, that's like a bullseye, though.
That's a good shot.
Next up, earthly pleasures.
Oh.
Twinkle toes there. That's not going to land well.
Yes. Oh.
Next up, dad reflexes on point on this
Hey,
one. Yeah.
is that Adam Sandler?
Looks like it, right?
It kind of does, right?
Dad said ninja in the back.
Yeah, jeez.
Next up, I call this one the dog crash. No dogs were hurt in this
Jeez.
photo, but
No,
it's funny.
I don't believe that.
Next up, the infamous Dairy Queen flip.
Oh, no, I never trusted that flip.
Never trust that
Never
flip.
trusted it.
Never good.
Oh.
Ah.
All right, man. Good stuff. Thank you to the Frasers for coming in.
Yeah.
Cool to learn more about the Fountain of Youth. You guys got to check that off. 50%
So
off for
cool,
locals.
right?
That's awesome. Thank you for putting together a good show, sir.
Yes, sir.
Davey, for Clay for pressing all the buttons out there. Davey's doing everything today. He's pressing the buttons. He's putting the show together. He's doing the funnies. Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you in the morning.
Bye, everybody.